My mother passed away from Alzheimer's a couple of years ago, and my father is in the moderate stages of the disease. And I got involved with the Alzheimer's Association to support and honor my parents.
It's important to fundraise for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. There are so many people who are willing to support this really challenging cause, and all they need is an invitation.
It's a common ground for a lot of people.
People that I never thought would donate all of a sudden started donating some money, and I was like, wow, this is really great and easy.
There's a great Alzheimer's Association tool. It catalogs your team from the previous year, and they have email templates that you can send out to the team and tracking tools and ways to embed in Facebook and Twitter.
I think social media is so awesome because people that you probably couldn't regularly contact through traditional means during the year, they're instantly open to you on Facebook and Snapchat and social media.
I definitely use the social media, and then also sending out cards to people I found was very helpful as well, especially to grandparents and aunts and uncles and things like that to get that, family personal connection.
I've been successful in fundraising for the walk with social activities like a dine to donate and having people come out and eat dinner together, enjoy each other's company, but have a percentage of proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association.
I feel very excited because I get the email notice whenever anybody donates, and so when I open my email in the morning and I see this, congratulations, a donation's been made on your behalf, I'm like, yes.
I like to raise funds really for the research aspect. Also for the education and the support for caregivers right now. There are so many millions of people that are caregiving and just need the local support, need support groups, and need education.
Being a part of the walk and honoring my father's memory, it makes me still attached to my dad, and it makes me still feel that he's with me. And I'm trying to make him proud, because if he was still here, he would definitely do everything he could do to fight this dread disease.
Fundraising is much easier than you think because most everyone has been touched by this disease, and they are more than happy to help with your cause and to get involved.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Just a Couple of Guys. Pat and I have done a number of podcasts that we consider good public service. We have spotlighted political races, showcased important non-for-profits to give back to our communities and our nation. Today, we are pleased to focus on the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's in St. Charles on September 27th by talking with the walk manager, Rebecca Santana, and a local volunteer on the walk planning committee, Katie Thompson. And Pat, this is an annual event that pinpoints the need to support efforts to eradicate one of our society's biggest health scourges.
Yeah, you can give me stomach cancer or brain tumors, but my greatest fear, and I think a lot of people share it with me, is losing, your faculties and having difficulty with your thinking process. That's a scary thing, and because there is this idea that you will suffer with that for some time, and you'll be a burden on your family, and I don't think anybody wants to be a burden. So it's a horrific disease, and anything we can do to confront it and try and resolve it, I think we should do.
Well said. Our guest will show you how you can help and participate in noble cause, and we will begin that discussion after a word from one of our fine sponsors. So you stay tuned.
The Kane County Cougars are back for the summer. The best family entertainment around features sunshine, baseball, and fireworks through Labor Day. With great food, world-class entertainment, exciting giveaways, and running the bases after every game, there's something for everyone at a Cougars game. Thirsty Thursdays feature $2 beer, pop, and half-price hot dogs. And for Sunday day games, a $15 ticket will get you $15 right back in concessions cash to spend at the ballpark. Come on out to beautiful Northwestern Medicine Field this summer for sunshine, baseball, and fireworks, and make your family memories today.
Well, we're back and very pleased to have with us today two individuals who are going to be prominent in this year's Walk to End Alzheimer's in St. Charles, September 27th. And those two individuals, let me introduce, are Rebecca Santana, the walk manager, and a resident of St. Charles and a friend and a volunteer for a number of years in this effort, Katie Thompson. Katie and Rebecca, nice to see both of you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Let's just start real quickly with a little bit of background here on the walk, or whatever you want to say, just to give our audience a little background on yourselves. Rebecca, we'll start with you.
Sure. This is going to be our 11th year at Potawatomi Park. The walk itself is a morning event, and it is a way for the community to come together. We spread awareness. We raise funds for Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and it is free to register. It's very family friendly. I would say it's cathartic. I kind of leave the morning when the walk route is done, just feeling like I got a big hug. We want people to leave with hope, feeling inspired to help us continue fighting. Katie, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about kind of what we have on walk day or what the walk morning looks like.
The walk morning is a little like organized chaos, but it's all folks who have come together from all over who join us at Potawatomi. We try to get as many community groups involved in the walk as possible. We can get cheerleaders from the local high schools, National Honor Society members to help set up the walk route. We have music that plays. We have guest speakers, most of whom have had personal involvement with people with Alzheimer's. I myself have been a resident of St. Charles since 1986 and got directly involved in the walk when I retired in 2016. It's a cause that's very close to my heart, and it's been a privilege to be a part of it. And as Rebecca said, even in the organized chaos, we generate a tremendous sense of community and of hope, which is so important.
As we talked offline, and Pat actually asked a question. There are a number of walks on this day or on other days all across the country and then all across the state. Maybe give our audience a little sample of how that works out.
Yeah, so here for our Illinois chapter, we do 23 walks over the course of 5 weeks between September and October, Chicago being our largest. And you can find information at alz.org/walk, figure out what location, what date works best for you. But we have over 600 walks nationwide. So it's kind of our signature event. And it's how most people come to learn that the Alzheimer's Association is available to them and what resources and services we may have to support them.
The website you mentioned now, let's suppose we have in St. Charles, Geneva, Batavia, or anywhere in the Fox Valley that beams our podcast. What if a group is sitting here watching and saying, well, let's get a group together and come on over to Potawatomi Park on September 27th. Would they use that website that you just talked about, alz.org, to get /walk to get involved?
Yep, they can form a team, they can register as individuals. Just as an example, this year we have Fred Astaire Dance Studio in St. Charles has not participated in walk previously with us. They're going to come out and do our warm-ups the morning of. And the Elgin Master Chorale signed up a team this year. They're going to come out and perform during opening ceremony. So we have companies, businesses, we have family and friend groups. A lot of the senior care providers in the area, we have vendors morning of, refreshments, a fun zone for the kids, a pet zone if you want to bring your leashed dog with. It really is just a really great morning.
Now, before we talk about the walk itself, how far it is, and so on and so forth, talk a bit about the fundraising. This is important here, and this is the catalyst behind the whole process here. Talk about the fundraising and how that's done relative to the walk itself.
So we talk about this a lot on our volunteer committee, is that we want fundraising to be fun. We want people to get together around the cause, share a connection, and It could be anything you like it to be. Our committee is planning a trivia night at Arcata Theater about a week and a half after the walk wraps, and that'll be a way to bring out people to raise funds if they want to purchase a ticket and join us. But I know for me, my family, summertime, do a barbecue. 4th of July, we have a little bags tournament. People, I give a suggested donation of $5 a plate for food. It can be honestly anything. Bake sales. We've seen rockathons. I don't know, Katie, you're always a champion fundraiser. How do you go about asking your friends, families, your network to support the cause with you?
I do quite a bit in terms of fundraising with electronic media. When you go to the Alzheimer's site, one of the things that will guide you to do is there's all sorts of tools that will help with strategies for team recruitment. But it will also help you set up a fundraiser, say on a Facebook page, or, you can spread a fundraising link on LinkedIn or on X. And there's also a way to send direct email. They will have a number of different types of texts that you can, pre-written text that you can send out via email soliciting donations. And then also on the website, you have the opportunity to check and see what your progress is. And you're also able to see who has donated. So you're not repeatedly requesting from the same people. I have recruited in the past people from my church. I belong to the St. Charles Episcopal Church up on Route 25. And we are a much older parish, and a lot of those folks have a vested interest in this. And so they're happy to donate. We have often when we have visiting priests, supply priests will come in and they'll see some of the postings that we have about the walk throughout the church hall, and they will offer to donate, or they will offer to share that information. So a lot through social media.
Now, 2 points on the fundraising. One, all right, you've had the fundraiser, whatever it may be. You've either collected money or you have received pledges of money. So now we get to the walk. How does that procedure work with respect to the money going to the Alzheimer's Association?
Yeah, so each team and each participant has a direct page on the Fox Valley Walk website, can do digital donations. They can mail those into our office in Lisle to be processed. They can call me and we can swing by and pick it up, or they could just bring it with them on walk morning.
Very good, very good.
And our fundraising, I should say, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it does go through the end of the year. So there's still plenty of time. We have 47 days to our walk, but our walk fundraising continues through December 31st.
And now for the walk itself, the main event. So now we're at Potawatomi. Before we even get the marching along the Fox River here, how about mentioning some of the ceremonies and what happens in some of these festivities? I know that there's a presentation of flowers and things of that nature. Expound upon that.
Well, we have our national presenting sponsor, Edward Jones. They have been a huge support to the walk. They made a big commitment in 2016. We started the strategic alliance, and they form a good chunk of our Fox Valley teams and members. They invite their clients to come out and walk with us. So they have a moment to speak as our presenting sponsor. We do our Promise Garden ceremony. You'll see this flower in my background. That is one of our Promise Garden flowers. And so each walk participant receives one. There's different colors depending on what somebody's connection is to the disease, if they are living with the disease, supporting somebody with the disease, if they've lost a loved one to the disease. And so we go through that. We do have an MC to keep things lively and energetic. And, there is a lot of just kind of team camaraderie and team celebration. There's a team photo area. What am I missing, Katie? Help me out.
I think you've got about it covered. There's, as you mentioned earlier, there's the fun zone for the kids. So while people are milling around, the kids can be in the fun zone doing face painting or blowing bubbles or coloring pictures or making their own promise flowers. A lot of people will just pick up a promise flower and walk around and chat with other people whose flowers are light colors. We have music. We've had radio stations come and provide music. We've had food trucks in the past that have come and provided breakfast. As you said, the Elgin Master Chorale is going to come and sing. We have usually somebody performing the national anthem. Very often it's the high school cheerleaders who start. We do a countdown under the balloons to kick off the walk itself. And we have the cheerleaders cheering us on with the pom-poms and the cowbells and, waiting to greet people once they've completed the walk. So there really is quite a lot going on.
All right. So it all starts at 8 o'clock, the park, and then at 9:30, the opening ceremonies, which will take about a half an hour. So now at 10 o'clock, we get off on the walk, and describe that walk for our audience, please.
It's 1.7 miles, and it really follows the river walk. We cross at Route 64. We do a turnaround at St. Mary's Park, and then we come back towards Potawatomi. So we start and end at Potawatomi, and some participants just want to come out and enjoy the festivities and opt out of going on the stroll. And so plenty of us stay behind as well. But it's 1.7 and it's a leisurely stroll, and we have some festivities along the way as well, water stations and route guides and things like that.
And I think this is a good time for me to give a big shout out to the St. Charles Park District and to the St. Charles Police Department. The Park District has done in the past just a wonderful job of getting the parking lot correctly cordoned off and getting the pavilion all set up for us. And the police do a great job of, guiding traffic and crosswalks and stuff like that to keep all of the walkers safe, because people walk at different paces. And, there's elderly people that walk and need a little extra time getting through the crosswalks and stuff. And the police department just does a wonderful job with all of that.
All right. Well, I think the two of you have described very, very emphatically and very, very succinctly the whole event. And of course, we need to now expand upon this, and we're going to take a commercial break. We come back, Pat is going to take over and talk a bit about Alzheimer's in the United States today, some of the stats, some of the information, and we're going to get into some other little tidbits as well, including the function of the Alzheimer's Association itself. All of that after a word from one of our fine sponsors. You stay tuned. Hello, friends. This is Ray Rogina. Elgin Symphony Orchestra tickets are on sale now. From October through May, Chad Goodman leads the Elgin Symphony Orchestra in music of Gershwin, Beethoven, Mozart, and more. Plus an annual favorite, the Holiday Spectacular. Tickets start at just $20. Order yours online anytime at elginsymphony.org.
Okay, we're back, and we're here with Rebecca Santana and Katie Thompson, of course, the co-host, Ray Rogina, and we're talking about Alzheimer's. Rebecca, and I don't know who wants to answer this specifically, but I thought we'd get into a little bit of the science at this point. Alzheimer's, is that kind of an all-encompassing name for the diseases of dementia, like cancer would be for various types of cancer, or is there a specific dementia known as Alzheimer's versus the others?
That's a great question. So dementia is actually the umbrella term, and there are several hundreds of types of dementia: frontal temporal lobe and vascular and Lewy body. Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia, making up about 2/3 of the cases.
What distinguishes Alzheimer's disease from these other forms of dementia?
Some of the underlying biological brain changes. So Alzheimer's is really classified by what we call plaques and tangles. So it's the amyloid beta plaque buildup and the tau. which causes the degeneration of the brain.
And so when you have problems and you go to the doctor, part of the diagnostic procedure will be to kind of test you and the brain, and then they would come to that diagnostic conclusion, whether it's Alzheimer's or one of these other forms of dementia.
Yep, there is imaging available, PET scans, MRI imaging. There is cerebral spinal fluid testing that can be done in addition to the cognitive assessments and neurological evaluations. And then just last month, a new FDA cleared blood test, reading biomarkers in the blood, which we're very excited about because this is going to add a new component in the doctor's toolbox that they can use in that diagnostic process that we hope is going to be much more painless, much more affordable, much more accessible.
When we talk about your fundraising campaign and the efforts with the walk, is it just limited to Alzheimer's fundraising, or does the money go to all research regarding dementia?
That's correct. All dementia, all brain health.
When we're talking about Alzheimer's, and I don't want to limit it to Alzheimer's, but dementia in the United States, do you have statistics as it relates to people suffering from dementia that have been somehow identified?
Yeah, it's increasing. So right now there are over 7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. And that number is expected to double by 2060. And so for us, this is a public health crisis because we are seeing an increase, whereas there have been a decrease in other leading causes of death, such as heart disease is going down and Alzheimer's is going up.
And on that, if I may, Pat, on that note about Alzheimer's statistics, I know you sent some information out to us. 1 out of 3 seniors are dealing with some form of dementia. My question, though, is how prevalent is this below age 50, let's say? I know there's examples, and so talk a minute about even younger people being struck with this horrific disease.
Yeah, so age 65, we're looking at 1 in 9. And then by the age of 80, 1 in 3. Now, it is more prevalent in women versus men, but we know that age is the leading risk factor.
And as it relates to risk factors, what are some of the others outside of age?
So this is some of the newest information that we have is looking at lifestyle intervention, and we call it 10 healthy habits for your brain. So specifically diet and exercise, preventing head injuries, socialization, smoking. These are some of the things that we ourselves have control to significantly reduce our risk of developing the disease and then also delaying progression.
Now, when we talk about cause of death as it relates to a pathological science, the idea of Alzheimer's or dementia being a cause of death, can you explain that for us? I mean, I understand how cancer can be a cause of death, but tell me about Alzheimer's and dementia as a cause of death.
So oftentimes as Alzheimer's progresses, we are losing our functions, our abilities, what we call ADLs or activities of daily living, and not as mobile, needing significant support with daily hygiene and care, which can then be a direct cause and effect to developing different infections, decreased appetite, things like that, that as the disease progresses, we're not able to do things we were typically able to do for ourselves, eating, bathing, dressing, and things like that.
So is it fair to say it's more of an indirect cause of death than an actual, you have a tumor and it's affected your brain to such an extent that it's inoperable, that kind of thing. Am I right about that? More indirect?
I would say it's more direct. This is the cause of those other changes in the body. So no, I know previously they wouldn't list Alzheimer's on a death certificate, and that changed in like the early 2000s. It really was a wake-up call that the disease is what caused those other factors.
Just a question here about progression. This is by experience and observing and experiencing such. I've known Alzheimer's patients who have dealt with the disease for 9, 10 years. And then I've seen situations which we call, I don't know what you call it medically, but I'm calling it fast track Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
It happens quickly and the person passes. What's the difference? What happens here that cause lingering versus something that's very quick?
Well, as mentioned, there are so many different types of dementia, so that can impact the disease length. But I would have to say your age at diagnosis can have a significant difference, as well as if you have other comorbidities. Lifestyle factors, as mentioned, can have a huge impact as well. I think, especially when we're looking at more of the early onset, oftentimes misdiagnosis or not receiving a diagnosis early enough, the changes in the brain can start to occur even up to 20 years before symptoms. And, I think in earlier individuals, it's very easy to write it off or to say, oh, this is stress or something else, and maybe not take the time to see a specialist and go through further testing.
Well, if we could bring the statistical analysis here of people affected by Alzheimer's or dementia generally to Illinois, do you have statistics as it relates to Illinois?
I should have had that pulled up. It's 250,000, over 250,000 currently Illinois residents.
And we say 250,000, and I take it those are people who have been diagnosed with the disease and are living with the disease. Is that right?
It is a prevalence number, but yes, those are individuals currently impacted.
Now, I know with alcoholics or drug addicts, there's family support through, I don't know what it's called, but there's Alcoholics Anonymous and there's this other thing. Do we have family support organizations for Alzheimer's or dementia patients?
So we have a lot of resources available at alz.org on our website. We offer support groups throughout the community. Many of those are volunteer-led, so some of the members on our Fox Valley committee also lead support groups throughout the community. Earlier this year, we did also launch what's a brand new app. It's called My ALZ Journey, and that's really focused towards individuals that are in early stages of the disease as well as their care partners. So these are some of the resources that they can tap into. But there's tips and tricks on our website, things that are going to be helpful for care partners to know throughout all stages of the disease.
One of the things I'm sorry,
Pat, there's an 800 number that I have shared with friends of mine that have needed these services, that you can get a person right away. And you can get somebody that can give you some tangible, actionable steps to take rather than sitting on hold with a doctor's office or, trying to wade through a website that's too complicated if you're not very adept at computer skills and stuff like that. So that 800 number is tantamount to, I think, what a lot of the organization does.
And that's 800-272-3900. Is that correct?
That's correct. We have master level clinicians available day or night, 365 days a year, and can offer translation in over 200 languages. Our goal being that nobody sits with this alone. We want them to know that they can speak with anybody at any time. We're here for crisis, we're here for resources, we're here for care partners that just need a safe space to vent. We oftentimes get calls from individuals who've been recently diagnosed themselves and are just not sure what next steps to take.
And of course, there are those individuals watching who will not be able to participate in the walk, but on a monthly, quarterly, annually, whatever, they're always in a position to donate the Alzheimer's Association. And of course, when you get on that mailing list, they'll remind you of more donations. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is the Alzheimer's Association does accept donations on a regular basis year round.
We do. On our website, individuals can choose to make a tribute to a loved one. But I think Katie or I would say, sign up for Walk even if you can't come day of. You can opt out during the registration and say, my school, my club, my group, my family, my friends, we want to form a team, but we're not able to join you day of. And then the association has a lot of other fundraising opportunities throughout the year. We have our Rita Hayworth Gala. We have our Paint the Night Purple event. We have our Chicago All-Stars with the marathon. We have our Do What You Love campaign, Memory Rocks concert. So these are available throughout the year. But more so, even just than the funds, it's really important to have people volunteer. We're a volunteer-led organization, and they can do that by joining a committee and helping us plan one of these fundraising events. They can get involved with our advocacy and making calls, writing letter campaigns to legislators. They can volunteer to participate in what we call our trial match program. So if they were interested in being part of a medical research study in their area, we would help link them with that.
Do you guys have like your own month, like breast cancer, and does prostate cancer have its own month? I don't know, but
I believe so. So June is what we call ABAM, Alzheimer's Brain Health Awareness Month. September, the month the walk is held in, is actually a global World Alzheimer's Month. Specifically,
so you have 2 months.
September 21st is World Alzheimer's Day.
Nice. I think we want to talk a little bit, Ray, about the science and where the research is going and any developments, right?
Well, they've done a good job already of mentioning that. And as I said offline, today's Wall Street Journal headline, and I was very pleased just to see the list of Finley in the journal saying scientists are making progress against Alzheimer's. And while you've talked a bit about that, let's ask a blunt question. In our lifetimes, or our children's lifetimes, are we going to be in a position to eradicate Alzheimer's?
I believe so. I do believe so. So most of our newer therapeutic options have been really symptom-based. They were not targeting the underlying biology of the brain, but in recent years, and I mean 2023, 2024, we have 2 new infusion options that are monoclonal antibodies, and they target reducing the amyloid beta plaque buildup in the brain. So 𝐀𝐤𝐬𝐬𝐸 and 𝐾𝐬𝐤𝐬𝐿, we have some of our Fox Valley Walk participants are receiving these treatments. And so to know that they have access and that it is making a difference, a positive difference for them, I have hope that we are moving in a very, very good direction. Also, at the end of July, we held our AAIC, our Alzheimer's Association International Conference in Toronto, Canada, where we had scientists and neurologists come from all over the world and share their updates from the past year. And there is so many promising advancements being made because we are learning so much more about the brain.
I just, I think, read or heard yesterday about lithium being something
yes,
that,
Pat.
right? And I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too old. But I've lithium was a drug that was given to people that suffered a certain disease or whatever, and now they're saying it might be helpful here. Do you know anything about that?
I did see that there was a test that correlated an improvement, I think specifically in mice. I don't know. I think that I think obviously I would not be the best person to speak on that. I would encourage people. It's a little bit of a rabbit hole because there is so much information, but please visit our website, alz.org, and scour the research that's coming out, because it is by the day we are hearing new and exciting things. Again, really, we want people to focus on, knowing the warning signs and what is a warning sign specific to Alzheimer's or dementia versus what would be considered typical aging. But more than that, the healthy habits for the brain, and all the information that's come out about these lifestyle interventions, because we believe that that can reduce risk by about 45%. So it's not just age. It's not just genetics. There are things that we ourselves have control.
And
let me ask this. I'm sorry, Ray. Let me ask this. There's been some, I don't want to get political, but there's been some cuts in research. And just recently, I think this mRNA was cut or will be cut. Talk about the money in terms of whether this is federal money or subject to being cut, or this is private money that goes to X, Y, and Z, just so people know.
So, I think the association, although we are facing new challenges that we have not previously, we do not rely solely on federal and state grants to do our mission. And so I feel that we will be continuing moving forward. We have commitments to help fund over 1,100 research studies in 57 different countries. And we will find a way. We have great corporate partnerships, and we will, what we say is Alzheimer's isn't stopping, and neither are we. And we mean that. So we will find a way.
As we draw to a close, I want to just accent what Pat said. Look at the Daily Herald the other day, and here's the headline: Research on Alzheimer's reveals lithium as potential key. So that's important. As we close here, do either one or both of you have any final thoughts you'd like to relay to our audience?
I think, Rebecca, you said it best a minute ago. Alzheimer's isn't stopping, and neither are we. We can't stop. Excuse me. The need is so great. When I moved to St. Charles almost 40 years ago, there were no memory care facilities, and now we have almost, you can count them on both hands. So the need is there. And those facilities are very expensive, and getting good care is expensive. And people are not able to handle that. And so that's where we have to step in and up our game to provide whatever resources we can to do that. We can't stop, and we won't. I truly believe that we won't.
Thank you both so much. This has been a very comprehensive look, not only at the walk itself, but about Alzheimer's, its force in our society, and what we can do to eradicate it. And we can't thank both of you enough for taking.
Thank you for having us and giving us the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Really
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Small break, and then Pat and I'll be back for some closing comments after this word from one of our fine sponsors. You stay tuned. Hello, friends. This is Ray Rogina, and I want to introduce you to a great Fox Valley institution. Fox Valley Credit Union is a member-owned, nonprofit, cooperative financial institution dedicated to providing accessible and affordable financial services to the community, with locations in Aurora and Oswego. Its services include savings, checking, debit cards, money market, IRAs, CDs, and more. It also offers mortgages, Visa credit cards, auto loans, and a variety of other financial services. For information on becoming a member, call Fox Valley Credit Union today at 630-859-2525 2276 or visit them online at foxvalleycu.com. Well, we're back, and Pat, talking offline here, we kid around and joke about at various stages of our podcast. This one was a little bit more somber, rightfully so, because it's a horrific disease. And, I feel just very good that we've had an opportunity here on the podcast, as we have with other non-for-profits, to focus on them, highlight them, and show the public that their need and their participation is very, very important.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but I certainly fear this. And any money that you can give in any way that you can give it, anything that you can do to volunteer your services or your time to these people, it's God's work. And I hope to see everybody out there on the walk, and I hope that people will send money until it hurts.
And as I said offline before we started the podcast today, and as both you and Paul even get older to my stage in life, you'll find that you'll interact with friends, acquaintances, heaven forbid, but it's possible, relatives that will be struck with dementia or a form of dementia, Alzheimer's, and it really is a tough task because you want to be there for them, but you see how this has destroyed what once was a person that you knew, you engaged, you loved, and now they've changed right before your very eyes, and it is tough. So I agree with you that throw a little extra money in the till. Over the course of the years, you make contributions. The Alzheimer's Association is one, like cancer, and a few of the others that are right there in the spotlight that we need to sit and work on as we move forward.
Happy to hear about the advances that they're making in the research, and excited about that. And hopefully they'll be allowed to continue with their work. And I don't know if she said this during the podcast, but I know she said it offline that they raised $115 million last year during the walk. So we're not talking about a couple of $1,000s here. This is significant money.
Well, I was thinking about it, and you jumped in with it, and I had no problem bringing it up about the political side here and whether or not any research has been impeded by it. They talk a lot about the corporate sponsorship, which is good. They talk about the donations, which are great. But there are federal research grants, I'm sure, that deal with the issue of Alzheimer's. I would hope that as you watch and read about this, that you don't see there any impediments toward moving forward with the research on Alzheimer's. I'm glad you asked the question.
Without the government involved in this process of research, I don't think that we can privatize the research. No, it's just too expensive.
Right. It's a public need, it's a public issue, and it should be on the forefront of public dollars, no question about it.
At the end of the day, you're saving money.
Exactly right.
Yeah, you're saving money. So I don't know what the economists call that, but there's value in every research dollar, I think. So.
Well, that's exactly right. And the opportunity cost not to do it, as you're just suggesting here, is very, very large. All right, time to roll. Time to get forward. We got another podcast this week, I know, and we're going to prepare for that. So for our distinguished University of Illinois graduate producer, getting fired up about the Illini this year, I know that. We've already had that conversation.
And working on just a couple of guys' background.
Yes. Maybe with a lion, maybe a little orange back there. He liked that. What's going on with that? Paul Stukel, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for all your help today. For my partner, Pat Crimmins.
Thank you, Ray.
Ray Rogino, wishing you all a pleasant week. It's August. It's still hot, but cooler weather is going to prevail here soon. It'll be 71 degrees and with a cool breeze off the Fox River for the Alzheimer's Association walk. So you make sure you sign up and give. Until next time, Pat and Ray.
Ray and Pat.
Just a couple of guys. So long, everyone.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters. Because now we have treatments, but now is no time to stop. Now we keep fighting. Now we turn the tide. Now we're seeing change. Because now we're making it. So now is the time to move. To laugh, cry, and laugh some more. Now is the time to get out there, and there, and there. With your community that will never quit. Because now we need you with us at the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's. Because now is the time for hope. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.